It completes the look and defines a woman's image. Yes, accessories can make or break a look. Meet Kerry McBride, who prefers to be called a jewelry designer. He translates his inspirations into classic pieces made for the woman who is an individual and knows what she wants.
My customer is a woman who's very independent. It's definitely a woman who has her own sense of style and a pretty strong sense of style.
Beyond the hard work and the exquisite craftsmanship Kerry McBride puts into his charming accessories, there lies a clear philosophy that breaks the rules of what most designers try to do when marketing their creations.
As a designer, I'm really not interested in fashion. It's not interesting to me. Fashion, I have the association with fashion that it's temporary and disposable. It's something that's in and it's something that's out. My work is much more about style and about design, and consequently appeals to someone who does not want what everyone else has.
I think one of the things that I like the best about Kerry McBride for the last several years is that he's really unique. His things are light and delicate and different than anybody else's.
After years spent designing jewelry and belts for such prestigious firms as Yves Saint Laurent and Luc Benoit, in 1988, Kerry McBride decided to create a jewelry collection under his own name.
My business got started about 3 years ago. I had been designing and working for other people here in the industry, some in costume jewelry and a few companies that I worked for doing fine jewelry. But I finally reached a point that I was very tired of working within everyone else's restrictions. I had to make changes and edit down from what my initial idea was. My decision to go into my own business really came from that I wanted to do pieces that were strictly mine and that looked exactly the way I wanted them to. My first real break was doing a collection for Isaac Mizrahi that I worked with Isaac and did all the jewelry for one of his spring collections. At the time that the pieces were shown, it was a very small show. It was only 50 people. It was held in a restaurant. But the 50 people who were there for that show were probably the 50 most important people in the country.
Here in New York City at the annual accessories circuit, Kerry McBride and his assistant Susan Portnoy are making sales with many of the leading buyers of major department stores and specialty boutiques throughout the country. It is here that these buyers get a first-hand look by seeing the splendid array of accessories Kerry has showcased at this event.
Just folds over simply. Wear it as a shawl.
Every time I go to one of Kerry's shows, I sense something new and different, and it always becomes my favorite piece. My favorite piece this year are his lariats. Is something that I feel is going to sell extremely well, and I'm looking forward to having it in the store.
Who or what are some of your inspirations?
The inspiration for a new line is sometimes on paper. I work with drawings. I draw extensively until I'm positive that I have exactly what's right before I really start working and making those drawings three-dimensional. Inspiration comes from all over. I look at old furniture, I look at African art, I look at contemporary architecture. But as far as inspiration, I feel that if my inspirations are too obvious, then I've failed as a designer, that it's my job to take whatever those inspirations are and shake them up and reform them into something that's really exclusively mine. My work is really about power. I mean, I see a lot of my pieces as almost three-dimensional tattoos that I want to get across a feeling of strength, a feeling that whoever is wearing the piece knows that it's something special and is not interested in anything really ordinary.
Kerry's pieces are what you call bridge. It bridges the gap between costume jewelry and fine jewelry within a store. It's a certain department. And Kerry's pieces are special. They just are. People who know him will always look at a certain piece and know that it's him. He won't get lost among the other designers, and I think people want that.
My current collection is all based around semi-precious stones, new pieces where I'm able to design shapes here in New York send those shapes abroad, and then have the pieces come back cut in semi-precious stones.
They're very light and they're very airy, and he uses colored stones, which is something that I've always loved.
I like his versatility, I like his color range, I like the finish, and it's fun that you can add to his jewelry from year to year.
Working in sterling silver, 24-karat gold, and semi-precious stones, his is a timeless aesthetic, completely modern yet with an eye to the past. These are timeless designs as appropriate now as they will be in years to come. As classics, each is a small piece of sculpture made specifically to flatter the wearer, pieces a woman will reach for every day.
My best-selling pieces tend to be the things that are the most personal and the most idiosyncratic. My favorite piece is this broken heart necklace. The stone is a man-made diamond. The heart itself has been broken, so the front of the piece is pain, but the back, when you flip it over and has lightning bolts carved into the back, is anger. One of the most important pieces I have for this season is a series on caged hearts. The hearts are carved out of rock crystal. The cages are handmade out of sterling silver and are done so that the stone is suspended within the cage.
What does new designer mean to you?
New designer means to me that other people are finally catching up with what I've been doing for a long time. I don't think there's any such thing as a new designer or as an overnight success. By the time other people are aware of your work, you've already been doing it for quite a while.
That was Kerry McBride giving us his insightful understanding of what it takes to be a success in the fabulous world of fashion.